Shame. 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 As you can tell, I deserve the shame. Don't worry, that's gonna make sense a little later on. Okay, so if you've read the title, you know that I've met James McAvoy at San Diego Comic-Con, and that basically this message is coming from beyond the grave. With just one encounter with this guy, I more or less needed to just start planning my funeral arrangements because, oh my god, I was done. I was done. Literally, after I met him, after everything, I was like, okay, I'm done. That's pretty much it. It's not gonna get any better than meeting the Professor X. You're it. That's it. You're done. And don't get me wrong, I know you guys must think I'm crazy, and maybe I am a little bit, but hopefully not too much. So I do watch Graham Norton because he's also one of the most amazing hosts ever, and in that clip, he talks about kind of getting sidelined for Channing Tatum.
And she said this thing that was like, it was meant as a compliment, and she was trying to get me to do stuff, but it was still really backhanded. And she went, because, you know, a lot of girls would be after somebody like Channing Tatum. But not me.
And I'm like, please, please, guys, you could have your G.I. Joe any day of the week. Give me my Professor X, and we are good. Professor X over Steroid Boy any day. Shame. 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 Okay, I am getting to that. So what then? Why the shame? This should be the best day of my life, right? Well, it was, but I also do deserve to die in a hole. So let's rewind a little bit. The night before, I knew I was going to go to the Conan show, and I knew James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain were gonna be there to promote It Chapter 2. So, in my stupidity, I thought it would be a good idea to go to sleep early. Or actually I wanted to. I didn't actually go to sleep early, but I guess I wanted to. Because my friend and I were planning to go to the San Diego Blood Bank and also donate some blood for Comic-Con. I had never really donated blood before, so I didn't really know how my body was gonna react to it, because I do know some people that get really tired and like all the energy is like drained out of them, and there's other people that could just like nothing wrong, nothing different. So I really didn't know which version of that I was. Like if I had a little bit of, you know, insight into that, I could be like, oh, it's not gonna be that bad. I can, you know, sleep, whatever. But I didn't know, so I kind of wanted to play it on the safer side and try to get a little bit more sleep, try to get some more food in me type of thing before the day tomorrow. And technically we had to be at the Conan show quite early on to try to get good seats. I mean, we ended up getting there around maybe 6, and that already pushed us to like the second floor. So, I mean, we wanted to get good seats because Conan's an amazing host. I will get to that later. He is so amazing, we don't deserve him. And yeah, it was just gonna be a full day. And I had just come back home from work, so it was super tiring, and I basically just wanted to get home and KTFO. But part of me was like, but what happens if maybe you do get a chance to meet him, you know? Like, are you gonna be prepared for that? Do you have anything you want him to sign? Do you have anything you want to say to him? And so I began thinking about it a little bit. Like, part of me just couldn't let it go. It was like, oh, I should do a little bit of something, or, you know, on the chance, you know, you never know, but the chance would be a little bit higher, especially since he is gonna be at the Conan show promoting it. And backtracking a little bit, James McAvoy is probably one of the best things that ever happened to the X-Men prequels, and him and Michael Fassbender really elevated everything that they were in, and honestly, I'm a huge fan of X-Men. Huge. Reshoot time. Because sometimes you're just in the moment, you do all this stuff, and you think you nailed everything, and then during post-production, you're just like, oh, forgot to mention that. So anytime you see this obvious shift in camera or whatever, you know where it's coming from. Anyway, so I did want to add that my love for Professor X and Magneto runs pretty darn deep. So deep, in fact, it infiltrated a manuscript that I've been working on since 2014. Yep, that long. No, it's not X-Men related. And no, I did not add this after I met him. That would be silly. I actually have timestamped emails I sent to my agent with the Easter egg-ish type of shout out. And just so you know, no one else got this grand shout out, okay? It's just those two. Okay, also, you have to check out my Pinterest board. That will probably detail you how big a fan of X-Men I am, okay? So one of my boards is called X-Men Forever. It's got 330 pins in it, and it's just pin after pin, photo after photo of amazing fan art. Okay, so you know, I basically made this whole depression board after watching X-Men Apocalypse because I was like, oh, it's the end of an era. It's the end of the McAvoy era. What are we gonna do? This was before the whole Dark Phoenix thing was announced. Okay, so that's when I created the board, and I was just like, oh man, I just need a way to cope with the fact that there was not really any X-Men announced movies, so nothing really to look forward to. It could literally be the end of the era, and that was it. So what I did, clearly, let me go back, was just collect images from comics, from fan art, mostly fan art, of all the amazing things X-Men related. It's really sad that most of my X-Men crap is at my parents' place right now. But I mean, here, let me show you some things that I do have that, you know, see, like here I have my Apocalypse poster. What else do I have? I have, let's see, this is my X-Men Apocalypse DVD. I know many of you be like, oh my god, I don't like Apocalypse. But honestly, I liked it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was super fun for me. So, go away haters, don't care. And this is my X-Men 2 DVD, which I will probably die on the hill where I say this is probably my favorite X-Men movie out of all of them. But he's not a part of it. Okay, so the other thing was, I was gonna bring this, okay? And funnily enough, okay, let me, there's too many thoughts in my head. I just can't get them all out. Okay, so this, I actually was thinking about bringing because I was like, oh, maybe he could sign it. That would be so cool. But he wasn't a part of this movie, so that would be kind of weird, wouldn't it? I don't know. I just, if you don't know, I have watched this movie more times than I've watched any other movie in my entire life. Back in, like, what is it, 2003 to 2005, I watched this, like, every weekend of my life. In anticipation for X-Men 3, which we will not comment on because that one makes me sad. But regardless, this movie was so important to me, so important to my childhood, that I specifically bought the DVD for all the bonus features, everything. And back then, yes, it was DVDs, so, you know. And then, okay, so the embarrassing thing was I totally forgot that my friend bought me this DVD for X-Men Apocalypse, and I forgot that I had it because I just forgot, and it's terrible. I can't even. Anyway, so I could have brought this. I could have. I was just being stupid, obviously. Okay, and what else do I have? Okay, so here I have my X-Men Evolution signed print. No, Professor is not in here, but still I love this to death, and I also love them to death. Okay, so I mean, I have a bunch of other crap in my parents' place, and I'm really sad that I actually don't have it physically with me. We will not dwell on that right now. The point was, I have a lot of stuff. I mean, okay, it's not that much stuff if you compare it to the super mega fans out there, but you have to think about it this way, okay? I am super poor and super cheap. So, truthfully, the most stuff I have of any franchise is X-Men. Yeah, it's... So hold on, okay. Getting back to the point, I was kind of hopeful, kind of tired, and really stupid. I decided to go with fan art, okay? I was like, you know what? It would be really cool if I could draw him a picture of him as Professor X and Michael Fassbender as Magneto, but not in a really creepy way like Graham Norton chooses his fan art to show. You know, I just wanted to show him that not all of us are creepy. Some of us are just a little creepy. I don't know where I'm on that spectrum right now. You can probably tell me at the end of this video. But I just wanted to, like, okay, let me draw him something wholesome. You know, something like PG, not PG-13 or rated R, okay? I didn't want it to be that. I didn't want to turn it into that kind of situation. I was just like, I just wanted maybe show him something nice. Like, just, you know, just show my appreciation for the work that he's done. And it would be great, right? Like, I could just hand it to him in case he doesn't have a lot of time to just chat with me. Then I could just give it to him and be like, here you go. And then he could take it and read it and have a laugh to himself about it later. I don't know. That was my thought process. So I started drawing, and it got really late. It was about 1 a.m. and we were supposed to wake up around 5 and get there by no later than 6. So I was like, damn, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's 1 a.m. and I've just sketched it out. I haven't inked it. The lines aren't crisp. It's no good, basically. And I was like, you know what? What are the actual chances of me meeting him anyway? Like, really, what are the chances? He's probably gonna jet off from one thing to the next. You know, stars honestly can't stay that long. If anything, our highest chance would have been to meet Conan, so maybe I should bring something Conan related, which I did. I did bring one of the Funko Pops. Let me bring that out for you. Hold on. So I got this from Conan last year. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just bring this and get Conan to sign it, because I feel like my chances of actually seeing Conan are a lot higher than me seeing James McAvoy. So, you know, I was like kind of leaning in that direction. Just taking all that into account. It was already 1 a.m. and I would have to wake up at like 4:30 or 4:45, and I was planning on giving blood right after getting the wristband and the tickets. So I was just like, probably not happening, so why am I getting my hopes up? Should I really cut off an hour of sleep to ink this drawing and make it look presentable? Yes, I should have. And then my thoughts kind of spiraled down. I was just like, well, maybe I could just bring my poster. I don't know, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I don't want my poster to get ruined. I don't want it to get ruined. How stupid of a thing is that? Anyway, ugh. I'm scared my poster's gonna get ruined because I don't have a poster holder thingy. I forgot what they're called, but I don't have that. And do I really want to bring it around all day? Because I know if you're not able to protect your poster, it's gonna get ruined when you're walking around Comic-Con. There's just too many people and it's just hectic all the time, and it's just gonna get crinkled or rumpled or something like that somewhere along the way. So should I bring that? Nah, just leave it at home. That's a smart thing to do, right? You see where I'm getting here with the shame, right? Okay, so I made it to Conan at 6, got our tickets by 9, was part of a really cool Twitter moment history about San Diego Comic-Con, so that was awesome. And then I went to the show at around 2:30. So I will go into detail about how amazing Conan is in another video, but holy crap, I just want to say really quickly that this man is so amazing. We do not deserve him. We really don't. He is just so funny and so talented and so giving that I don't think there's really any other host that compares. So amazing show. Me and my friend after the show went to the back to try to get our little Conan pop signed, because he does that, he's that good. And yeah, so we were just gonna hang out and try to see if we can see Conan and, you know, manage a picture or something, I don't know. But then what happens? Okay, yeah, you know what happens, okay? James fucking McAvoy. You know, when Asian eyes get this big, you know shit being serious, okay? I literally couldn't even. I really couldn't. He was signing things for people and I just stood there like a statue. Like, you know, one of those statues that you basically want to tear down because it's so dang ugly and you can't because it's historical? Yeah, one of those, okay? Here's the thing, I think it's honestly really different when it's an actor who brings a character to life that you have spent more or less your whole life with, or held a really deep connection to. And Professor X was that for me. Professor X and his X-Men were that family for me. Like, I had met Peter Capaldi, I think his name is. He's one of the doctors in Doctor Who. When I passed by him at a Comic-Con maybe like 3 years ago or something, 4 years ago, I forgot when exactly. I was completely more relaxed at that point because I was just like, hey, you know, like, it didn't really strike that chord with me. So it was very, very lovely meeting him. And genuinely, that guy was really amazing too. But I wasn't as, I guess, starstruck by it. I'm not trying to downplay Doctor Who. I'm just saying that the character itself of Doctor Who in that iteration did not hold and did not strike a chord with me personally in my childhood or adolescence or anything. But Professor X, X-Men, James McAvoy, that's all different. Completely different ballpark we're talking about. I mean, to further explain that, X-Men's been with me since I was a toddler. Like, I couldn't even understand what was going on in the 90s animated series, but all I knew was that Professor X was a cool teacher and Scott and Jean were my everything, basically. So that's all I knew. I mean, I know guys were all about the Wolverine because I knew some friends that were like, oh man, he's so cool, that Wolverine guy, but I was like, no. No, okay, I know I just about like alienated all the Wolverine fans, but that's not the case, because if I meet Hugh Jackman, I will literally die. I will die for a second time. The point is, even after the 90s series, X-Men 1 came out, X-Men 2 came out alongside X-Men Evolution, and that has literally been, I don't know, my entire middle school, high school, whatever that period was. I drew pictures of them, I wrote fan fictions of them, it was like my everything. I didn't care, like nothing else mattered besides my grades and X-Men. That's how important, okay? Like everyone else was like, oh, let me draw like my crush's name and put little hearts around it. But I'm like, no, get that shit out of here, okay? You see, I superseded that. I drew my little hearts around my X-Men characters, namely Cyclops, before he was shat on by, I think it was Grant Morrison or whoever wrote the character assassinating pieces in the comics. Ugh. Anyway, back to the shame. So luckily my friend was there, so she was able to pull my dead ass body over towards him and so we could take a selfie together. Thank God for her, because otherwise I would have been in super big trouble and living in regret for the rest of my life. But I hesitated, okay? I hesitated on giving him my drawing. So I didn't have my poster, I didn't have my DVD, I didn't have my books. I had a library book, but I was like, funnily enough, I had a library book that was X-Men, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this comic when I'm in line, you know, and maybe it'll strike up some conversations if someone else has read it too. So I had a library book for the X-Men comic, X-Men Blue, and I was like, I can't get him to sign a library book, so I'm gonna have to return that shit. Yeah, I'm horrible. Anyway, the only thing I had was this dumbass drawing, which I will put a better picture of later, I guess. But here's my shitty drawing, okay? And I was like, you know, I didn't even ink it afterward because I was just like, the world needs to know how badly I screwed up, okay? They just need to know. So, first of all, one of the ugliest sketches a 20-something could ever make. Okay, like if it came from a kid, it'd be more acceptable, but a 20-something is like, ooh, oh, where did you learn to draw that? Oh God. And second of all, it's not even inked. Like, okay, it's basically like the equivalent of that in drawing is like giving someone cake batter to eat. Like, why? Why didn't you just bake the dang thing? It would have only taken an hour, I guess, or an hour, maybe a little bit more, but no. You thought sleep was more important. So yeah, I couldn't. Like I was so ashamed of my drawing. For one, the sketch lines were still there. It was just so bad. If it was inked, it would be okay. If it was inked, not colored, it's fine, I'm sure, okay? But the fact that it was all just in like sketch line format, I just couldn't, like, I couldn't even. It was too embarrassing. It was just too embarrassing to bring out, so I couldn't. And yeah, I should be stoned for it. That seems like an appropriate punishment. I mean, all I wanted to do was show him that not all of us are super creepy, okay? Some of us are just normally creepy or slightly creepy, okay? We just love you two together and we just like to draw pictures, okay? Okay, other thing, I wasn't even wearing my X-Men shirt. I was wearing an Avengers shirt. The shame. The shame. The absolute shame. Okay, you also know that fan that Mark Ruffalo had, the one that was uttering flattery all over him through the phone. You know, I kind of wish I had actually done that. The fact that sucks so bad was that I couldn't get any more words out other than, oh my god, James, I love your work so much. That's all I managed to get out, okay? See, I had things I wanted to say to him, okay? Here, I wrote it down because clearly I can't be trusted with unscripted impromptu meetings. Like, I could have said he took one of the most iconic, most influential comic book characters ever and absolutely nailed it, okay? He just made it look so darn effortless. And to be able to do that, you have to be like a crazy high caliber actor to make it look so right for you. It's just so rare. I could have said that Marvel would be stupid not to hire him because they really truly would be. Like, yeah, I know they can't hire him for Professor X because it'd be too close and too confusing, whatever role it is. If they have the chance to hire James McAvoy, they would be stupid not to. Seriously. And honestly, I could have just been like, here's everything I own. My soul pretty much escaped my body after this experience, so just have everything. I don't even think an ambulance can save me. I'm just gone. Thank you for appearing in my life. That's all I needed. Basically anything. Anything more than just, oh my god, I love your work. Ugh, how lame is that? I mean, it's not lame. It's just not that memorable. Especially since I didn't give him my fan art. I didn't give him a picture. So there I'm stuck looking like an idiot. And I didn't even get to the worst part. The worst part is that, you know, after he left, he came back one more time and I chickened out a second time. Shame. Shame in the highest regard. But in all honesty, he was so incredibly nice, so thoughtful. He did autographs, he took pictures. He stayed longer after the show when all his other castmates had kind of gone off to the other event. Like, I'm sure he had a schedule to keep, but to stop by and really give his time so freely to us, I was just like, oh, I'm so touched. Oh. And the other thing is, he's so talented and underappreciated. Like, when me and my friend were fangirling out onto the side after he'd left, the girl next to us was like, oh, yeah, I know him from things, but he's like, whatever, like, who cares? And I was like, oh, excuse me, have you even watched Atonement, Wanted, Split? I mean, it's so hard to articulate. I mean, do you think that's not enough? Think that he had to voice Romeo and Juliet, okay? I mean, how could you not fall in love with him? He's so freaking gorgeous. Like, how can you not find this attractive? I was like, okay, you know what? Delete that selfie. You don't deserve that selfie, okay? Just delete it and be gone, okay? And when I sent my selfie over to my friends' group chat, they thought they were being so cheeky by responding with the Patricia gif. You know, the Patricia from Split. I was like, please. Patricia made that movie, okay? There would be no movie without Patricia. And you know it, okay? So I don't really know what's gonna happen with X-Men in the MCU. And I find it really crazy that some people are like theorizing and already making like all these like connections when Kevin Feige only said one line in Hall H. Okay, my friend was actually there. She was like, it's just one line. People, are you guys forgetting phase 4? You're just like jumping straight to phase 5. Whatever. The point is, I just don't know how they're gonna follow up James McAvoy's interpretation of Professor X. But all I do know is that 1, James McAvoy is the sweetest man alive. Yes. 2, James McAvoy elevates every project that he's in, and I will fight you to the death if I need to defend that. 3, he is the quintessential young Professor X. No question about it. I'm sorry. I will die on that hill. And 4, I should be shamed for my cowardice and my inability to form words and my poor decisions the night before. Yep, that's it. This is heaven. I don't think there's any point higher than this. I think it's downhill from here. It's been a good run. Except for the shame that I have brought upon myself.